everyone. It's so great to be on with Healthful Life MD. I am the new private chef, and I am here to help you guys feel more comfortable in the kitchen and get yourself nourished and fed in your wellness journey. I have been a home cook since I could pretty much stand at the counter, and I've worked in restaurants. I'm in the middle of culinary school right now, and I've also been somebody who had a job outside of the food industry and had to come home after a long day and figure out how to feed myself and make sure that I was being, healthy and active and really balancing all of those things. So I'm really excited because I think all of those experiences intersect well to provide support to clients at Healthful Life MD and really empower them to feel like they can kind of take control of the food in the kitchen and make something that they really love and that really excites them, and kind of take the blah out of health food and make it a little more fun and a little more exciting.
That sounds great. And if a client signs up for the Healthful Life MD program, and you, I think I read that you actually come to their house and help them with meal prep. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, so we're exploring two different ways to work with clients. The first is instruction, and that really is helping people who want to kind of learn to fish, people who really want to understand how they can be doing healthy meal prep and healthy meal creation throughout the week. So we work together to understand what they love to eat and what they hate to eat and what they should be eating, according to some of the tenets that Dr. Abby has shared with them about how to maintain, their program. And we come up with some really great recipes that they can kind of modify and, kind of tweak to make really interesting throughout the week. And we get together in person and we create those in their kitchen with their equipment so that they can kind of walk away and say, okay, like on Sundays or Mondays of the following week, have a couple recipes to choose from, and then I can kind of make some variety with those and really kind of set them up to be doing that on their own. The other option is for me to create meals for them. So a lot of our patients are transitioning off of or trying to incorporate, they're transitioning off of shakes and they're trying to incorporate more whole meals. So I'm here to help them come up with delicious meals that they love that can be stored in their refrigerator or their freezer, and that I kind of deliver to them, and then they're able to heat those up and incorporate them into their day-to-day. That's not something that's happening during the quarantine, but it's something that we'll definitely be doing, once we can all be together again, for sure.
Yeah, and I bet that you're also able right now to work with clients, using Zoom or FaceTime. So that's great.
Yeah, I've had a lot of success kind of with people who are in a rut and they're just not really sure what to cook, or they're not used to eating at home so much, or having access to, throughout the day to be able to make their own meal, which is also exciting change. And so I've been helping create recipes that are fitting people's macros and fitting their programs, and then kind of talking them through the plan, the meal plan for the week over Zoom. So it's we're being as flexible and adaptable as we can, and it's going really well.
That sounds great. And I liked what you said about, adding all these delicious recipes and adding ideas, because it's not so much about taking things out of our lives, but adding better things to it. So, and I know that's a big thing with Dr. Abby, but I think today we're going to do something in the kitchen with you, and it has to do with onions. Can you tell me a bit more?
Yeah. So, I love to build flavor. That's pretty much how I learned to cook. My mom is Lebanese and French Cajun, and my dad is Cuban. And the constant in all of those, ethnicities and cultures is a lot of garlic and a lot of onion. And they're what I kind of call like flavor booster freebies. They're not really caloric. They're not going to really like knock you off of any of your macros. But if you spend some time really developing flavor at the beginning of your recipe, it's going to boost it up and amp it up. And so you can pretty much always find garlic and onion in my kitchen. And I only live with me and my fiance. And so, I don't always use a whole onion. So I've figured out kind of how to store it and always have it on hand and really kind of be onion ready. So today we're going to learn just how to cut an onion. There's a lot of really chefy ways to do this, which I encourage all of you to learn eventually, but I also think the basics are kind of where we start. And even though I've worked in a restaurant and done all of that, I really am still a home cook, and I still really want things to be pretty efficient, not waste too much food, and be delicious. So we're gonna get started. One of my, tricks that I just taught my fiance is to put a wet dishcloth underneath your cutting board. And for some reason, a lot of people don't do this and don't know to do this. And I'm just in my sink real quick, so I'm out of the camera shot. But you just get it damp. It's just a little tea towel or cloth, and you just put it on your counter. And then when you have your cutting board down, it doesn't move as much. And actually, I haven't cut myself very much in the kitchen, but one time that I didn't do this step, and my cutting board was warped, and it moved, and my knife slipped. So I'm a pretty religious wet towel user now. And I like, I have a beautiful wooden cutting board that I use a lot for serving, but I really like plastic cutting boards for any kind of things that smell, kind of like onions, or anything that needs to be disinfected. So chicken or any sort of meat or poultry, you can disinfect these with a liquid disinfector, or you can put them straight into your dishwasher. So they're not cute, but that's what I like. And this is my home knife. This is a nice Japanese knife. So for me, I think you should use whatever knife fits your hand and feels good, but it should be really sharp. And that is how you actually prevent from hurting yourself and cutting yourself even more. And it's also how you keep from crying when you have onions. So there's a lot of old wives' tales, but for me, I think that it's really just about a sharp knife. And, you might shed a few tears, but better than not having onion, in my opinion. So when you have an onion, this one's been in my pantry for a while. It's kind of gross, but you can use them and just peel them off. So you really want to have the onion, you want to cut it this way first. So from tip to tip. And that's really going to be, I think, a tip that'll, like, a lot of people start cutting it long ways. The first thing you do when you're cutting is you want to find a flat surface as fast as possible, because that's going to prevent you from rocking and rolling around. Mm-hmm. So you're going to be cutting it lengthwise, so this way, right? And then for me, I pretty much immediately put half of it away. And again, that prevents a lot of the smells and the tears. This is a Weck glass jar. You can get them on Amazon or whatever. They have glass tops and plastic tops. And for me, when I store anything kind of smelly in my fridge, I pretty much always put it in like a very high seal situation. Okay. And then I can just pull it out and use it again. So I'm going to take the half actually the gross half, because I'm going to show you that it's pretty okay once you dig down into the layers. And then you're going to cut it with the flat side down again, so we don't have to worry about roly-poly. And you're going to cut it on the horizontal. So now you're going to have it used to be this way, mm-hmm. up and down, and then we cut it this way, right? And let me know if you can see. I can move a little closer too, maybe to here. So then you really want to get the slippery part of the onion, the peel off. And that might be more layers on some onions than others, but you want to get like any kind of wrinkly skin and any kind of gross stuff off, because you don't want to eat it. And also that's going to make your knife slip if it has some of that that peel that you can kind of see right there. That's okay. Going to make your knife slip as well. So really what you want to do is you want to pull your board forward as much as you can so that it's actually lined up. You don't want to be cutting over like this. It's not good for your back, and it's definitely not good for your knife control. And so I'm a right-handed person. So this actually, we may want to move to this right here, or I can kind of show you right here. What you're going to do is you're going to essentially hold your onion with your flat hand. So don't do it like this. I'm just showing you like this. And then you're going to start by cutting up from the bottom to the very top. And what you want to do is you want to use long motions, and you want to start at the very, very back tip of your knife, and you basically want to use the entire knife to move forward. So let me know, Valerie, if you want me to switch my...
Oh, no, I can see it.
Can you see? Okay, mm-hmm. So you're not trying to go all the way to the back of the onion. You can do this as many times as you need in order to keep moving towards the end of the onion, but essentially you want to be creating tiny little cubes. that are ready to be cut. So you're going to be going long ways, and then you're going to be going top to bottom. But you want to start at the back of with the back of the knife, and you want to move forward, and you want the tip to drag out. A lot of people use their hands like this. I prefer to do that. Either way, you just want your fingers out of the way.
Yeah.
And you know, different sizes of onion are the closer you are together. This one I'm not doing too small because unless you're in a kitchen and they're checking your knife cuts, you don't really need a super like brunoised onion. Like it's just not really a thing that home cooks need. But it's fun to practice. I mean, quarantine is really, we're all looking for new hobbies. So now we're gonna go this way.
Okay.
And again, like you can do it as small as you want, or you can do it as big as you want, but you essentially want to get the tip of your knife down, and if it's sharp, it'll go pretty fast. And when you're holding a knife, you always want to, a lot of people hold their knives this way. You don't have as much control as when you hold your knife up here. Chefs actually have like a little callus on their hand right here from their rocking. And so really like a higher grip is going to give you a lot more control over the knife, especially when you're just using the tip on something like that. So now we're going to be cutting this way. And again, I think a lot of people like chomp down. You actually want to be doing like more of a slicing motion. And again, with an onion, like, and I'm not a food scientist, it's about like cellulose and all of these different things. And the fewer cuts you make on the onion, the less smelly and like cryy you're going to be. So now we're just going to do that. You're going to have a little square onion right there. And you can pretty much go as far back as you need to until your cuts stop, and then you can do it again. So for me, I would pretty much put this straight into the pan and get it going and get some nice, you know, flavor going and get some caramelization or get some sweating. But the other thing you can do is you can throw it in a little baggie and you can put it in the freezer and you can pull out frozen onion and get something started with that. You may not want to use that fresh, but in a soup or in something that you're starting out sauteing, that's a great way to go. So you have a little onion. Right
that looks great.
Yeah.
In terms of different kinds of onions, I noticed that you're using a red onion. Yeah. When do you use a yellow or a white onion? Is it just the type of cuisine?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's regional and it's specific. I mean, for me, it's also just flavor. I love the taste of a raw red onion more than I do like a white onion. So there's usually white, a sweet yellow, and a red. And I find different ones like more pungent than others. The other thing you can do is if you do like the taste of raw onion, but you don't necessarily want that like real intensity when you bite into it, that's overpowering, you can actually, you can soak them. And that's something that will help kind of soften the flavor. And actually what my mom does is she boils water and then in a strainer, she'll just pour hot water over the onions in the strainer and like, you know, be done with it. And that kind of like cooks them a little bit and softens them a little bit and makes them a little less intense. Pickling onions also strangely make them a little less offensive. So I love to do that too. And you can do that with, you know, like most pickles have a little bit of sugar in them, but you can actually eliminate the sugar pretty successfully and have just like a quick pickled onion as well. Or you can use some other sort of sweet thing like a juice of an orange or something else that you have kind of lying around to take the place of that and just have some fun.
Would lime work?
Yeah, you could totally do like, I mean, you know, I think as long as it tastes good and you like it, you can enjoy it. It doesn't have to be like true to the cuisine or the region or, you know, I think if you like it, you can experiment with it, and the more comfortable you feel in the kitchen, the more you will kind of find what you like. And you might find some things you don't like, and that's cool too, but it's all part of the journey. And the more you know, the more you can make things very specific to your taste and have a lot more autonomy, which I think is one of the best parts about cooking.
I agree. And Chef Kathleen, we're going to keep doing videos, and we are going to ask people to send us private messages on Facebook or comment on the videos so that we can get a sense of what people want videos about. So I just want to thank you for, I almost said stopping by, but since we're, you know, locked down, we're not stopping by, but
yeah.
thank you for showing us your tips about onions, and I look forward to more cooking tips in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to hear what would be helpful to you guys generally, and also while you're at home, hopefully cooking up a lot.
Sounds great. Well, thank you so much. And we'll speak with you soon. Take care.
Bye guys. Happy cooking.